my wrist that has a bumblebee on it, and not once did I ever think I'd get a tattoo of a bug on my hand. Honestly, motivational speaking is something that's always been like up there for me because I really love helping people. It just makes me feel happy, it makes me feel less alone too, and it's just honestly nothing makes me any more happier. But yeah, it's like for me, when I went into university, I went into early childhood studies. That was a 4-year program, but I stayed back a year, so I stayed for early childhood studies for 5 years. Because MS hit in my second year, so it kind of slowed me down. And then shortly followed by my ECE, it came along with Teachers College. So I did Teachers College, and even when I did Teachers College, it was really hard for me to even understand it in that moment too, because I knew I didn't want to be a teacher because I couldn't do certain things like physically that a teacher would be able to do, an educator would be able to do. But the one thing that I failed to realize up until I finished university was just the fact that why was I thinking about the fact that I had to be a teacher? Why couldn't I just think about the fact of being an educator? But it's like the more I thought about it, I was like, wait, but Pree, this is exactly what you're doing on YouTube right now, because I've been making videos on YouTube since 2017. And with doing that, people would always leave comments and be like, oh my gosh, Pree, you're such a good educator. And then I don't know, it just made me feel good, where it's like, I feel like things changed, but like in a good direction. But yeah, so I just had that educating aspect to me this entire time. So when I got my diagnosis, I realized I had to change the way I was eating because I just felt like it was my fault I had multiple sclerosis. So it took me a while to figure it out. I got my diagnosis in 2017, but in 2019, 1st of January is when I first went vegan. But I went vegan because I'm also allergic to eggs, and I've been allergic to eggs since I was born. So I was never really able to eat anything with eggs in it anyway, so I wasn't really making much of a difference. But why I chose to go vegan was because I wanted to kind of discipline myself in a way where it was like some foods I really didn't need to be eating. And then, especially with having incontinence too, it's like, when you're eating things that aren't really that great for you, it's like it always made like my bowel and my bladder movements more frequent, and it also made it even more difficult to just hold everything inside. But yeah. So when I was going through incontinence, I had a really hard time because I didn't know protection existed for adults because I always thought it was just babies or the elderly that would wear protection. And the process for me was difficult because I didn't know who to ask for help in the very beginning. To then finally just being like, you know what, Pree, you have to wear something like protection to stop fearing being outside. So then I was like, okay, let's try a pad. So I tried one of the incontinence pads. It made me feel so much more confident, but I just didn't feel like it was holding enough for me. And then I transitioned into pull-ups. And then when I transitioned into pull-ups, I was wearing the pull-ups in Teachers College. I did the bare minimum, but I wore that for 2 years. And then even with sharing my journey on YouTube, talking about how I wore these specific pull-ups, people would always tell me to just start wearing diapers because it holds so much more. And then I finally decided to try out these diapers. I finally decided to try out diapers. But what I did was I've actually been making videos on YouTube more so like talking verbally about the struggles I was going through and the things that could help other people. But shortly after finishing university, it was about thinking outside of the box for me because I wanted to support more people, and I wanted to kind of like gain more subscribers too, so that way I could help more people. So I filmed this video where I come outside of the box. And with coming outside of the box, that was my way of just mentally telling myself that everything is going to be okay. Just put on a diaper. So shortly after what followed that video was me doing the try-ons on my YouTube channel. Some people questioned it where they're like, why are you doing try-ons? But that was just my way to embrace incontinence because I didn't know how to do it in person either. And yeah. Okay, so for me, I realized I needed to be using incontinence products because I kind of wet not my bed, someone else's bed, and they gave me the hardest time over that. I remember in the middle of the night having to go in the store by myself to get cleaning supplies just to clean the bed, and it was honestly, it traumatized me. So that was the point where I was like, well, one, I need to start wearing protection, and two, get that person a mattress protector because they didn't have a mattress protector, and I knew that I was probably going to wet the bed again. But yeah.